Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all. On behalf of Farm to Cafeteria Canada and the Coalition for Healthy School Food, it's my pleasure to officially welcome you to today's webinar. If you're just joining us, my name is Jessie Veenstra. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director here at Farm to Cafeteria Canada. I'm honored to be joining you today from the unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, today known as Vancouver, British Columbia, where I'm privileged to be a guest and live and work on these lands. Now, I know many of you are joining us from across the country and even outside of Canada, so I invite you to say hello in the chat, share the lands that you're joining us from today, and no matter where you're located or what time it is, or if you're watching this in the future as a recording, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, and please do what you need to feel comfortable over the next hour or so together. And I realize some of you might be new to either the Coalition for Healthy School Food or Farm to Cafeteria Canada, or potentially even both. If you are, welcome. If not, welcome back. A little bit about us. The Coalition hosts Canada's largest school food network with 500 plus members and endorsers working toward a goal that every child and youth in Canada will have access to healthy, affordable, and culturally appropriate food in a non-stigmatizing way at school every day. And Farm to Cafeteria Canada shares in the coalition's goal, and we work collaboratively with them and many partners across the country as a capacity building organization to transform how food is experienced, learned, and celebrated in all schools across Canada. And we know that chefs and other school food service professionals hold such a wealth of knowledge and skills that are important to achieving this goal. And so we're so thrilled to have three chefs here with us today, representing three different programs and locations, both across Canada and in the UK, to share their experience and knowledge with us. So welcome to our presenters. In terms of the format, our speakers are going to, we have three speakers that are going to present, and then we'll have some time for question and answer at the end. The first and third presentations will be in English. The second will be in French. And please feel free to put any questions that you have that come up as we go along through the presentations into the chat in your preferred language. And then we will do our best to respond to as many as we can in the Q&A section. And I'd also just like to thank everyone who submitted questions as part of the registration. We got so many great questions. And again, we'll do our best to address as many of those as we can. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Sam Phillips, joining us from across the pond, as they say. Sam is the Director of Programs at Chefs in Schools United Kingdom, which is a fast-growing solutions-focused charity transforming school food. There's a theme here, and education across the UK. They work hands-on in schools to train kitchen teams to cook from scratch, and they reach tens of thousands of students every day. Welcome, Sam. We're so excited to have you, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the great introduction as well. I feel like I've kind of already need to pass through the first three slides that I've got. So that was a wonderful introduction. Jesse said, my name's Sam Phillips. I'm the Director of Programs at Chefs in Schools. We're a charity. We're a charity that was founded in 2018. With a simple mission in the UK to transform children's health through food. A lot of the work that we do is supporting chefs in kitchens, enabling them to cook from scratch, and also to support children who are coming through those dining halls, giving them a good food education. So every visit to the kitchen is a learning experience. The charity itself was founded off the back of one of our founders who originally worked in high-end restaurants in London, moving into a position as a school chef in London for 4 years, and spent a lot of that time learning about some of the amazing things that can be done in a school kitchen. And between her and the other two co-founders of Chefs in Schools, one of a head teacher and one who's also our chair and one of our trustees, they decided that this is something that, as great as it was in their school, it needed to be something that could be available in every school across the country. And so Chefs in Schools was then founded. Just before I start talking about chefs in schools and the programs that we deliver, I thought it'd be very pertinent just to talk through the context of school food in the UK, just to set the scene as to some potential differences between the UK and Canada. Firstly, just how school food is governed. Um, the government have a Department of Education who have overall responsibility for school food in the UK, and they collaborate with other departments, such as those that are working in food and agriculture, as well as health departments as well. The school governing bodies decide what form school food can take in within a school. They're responsible for ensuring that the schools are adhering to the school food standards. And the catering in school can be served in and provided in a multitude of ways. A lot of it is catered through outsourced contracts, some through local authority caterers, and a number also provided through in-house providers within the schools themselves. In terms of what's provided in UK schools, most primary schools offer a hot meal or a snack meal dessert for a fixed price. And it differs slightly for the secondary school settings where they have a canteen that serves several hot and cold choices that the children can choose from throughout the day. And that might be at a mid-morning break and it could be at lunchtime, but the autonomy there is for the children to make those decisions. Most schools have dining halls. Some schools have family dining where the children sit down together and eat, and the food is on the table and they serve themselves. And rarely do we actually see children actually eating in classrooms. Most schools have a dining hall available. And then just in terms of just the kind of the kind of set the scene with the state of the nation, and a lot of the work that we do is framed around supporting the improvement of child health and doing that through school food. And the government have recently made some pledges to expand the free school meals to another 500,000 pupils across the UK. So that's expanding the eligibility criteria. They've pledged £1 billion to support this through to 2029. And they've also pledged to strengthen the school food standards, which is something that's underway at the moment. We also have and appreciate that there's been kind of maybe some similarities of things happening in Canada as well, but the rollout of breakfast clubs is being mandated across all primary schools as well from 2026. So into Chefs in Schools, we run 3 programs. We have our school transformation program, which is our most intensive program. And this is where we go into a school and we support the whole school to either move from a caterer into in-house provision, or if they've already got that in-house provision, to upskill that kitchen workforce. And we support with the recruitment of chefs, and that may be from hospitality or restaurant industry. And then we upskill that kitchen team so they can cook everything in that kitchen from scratch. As part of that process, we also support the school team as well, so the senior leadership team with procurement, with budgeting to enable them to have the confidence that the food they're providing is within the budgets that they have available and meets all the necessary health and safety requirements that you would expect in the school setting. In terms of who we support predominantly the chefs, so we are supporting the chefs in those schools rather than supporting the students. Obviously, the students are therefore benefiting from the training that's provided. And I thought the best way of kind of showcasing this is to actually showcase some before and after pictures in terms of what we've seen in schools. So here you can see this is a school where we started doing some work. We went into their pantry. We had a look to see what they were using before we came to work with them. A lot of ultra processed foods, lots of things that weren't pre-prepared. There were things that were frozen out of the freezer into an oven and out. And as you can see from the frozen chicken burger trays that were there on the right-hand side, a lot of beige food. After our intensive support and providing the chefs with the skills and the expertise, we can then see some of the things that are now coming out of that kitchen. So some of the same team are there, but we also supported them with a recruitment of bringing in a head chef that can support with some of the prep here. So they now freshly bake their bread in-house. They have really exciting salad bars, really interesting menu options each day that are exposing children to new foods. And that's a real key point of this program as well. When we're supporting the schools, it's not just providing excellent and nutritious food, it's enabling the children to learn about it as well so that they make better choices when they're leaving school. Often when we'll go into these schools, this is the kind of thing that we often see that what some schools consider to be normal. It's just a bit of food, maybe thrown on the plate, not too much love. And this is what we try to instill into the teams that we're supporting is you show the love, the children will eat more of it, and they'll learn from it. And so here, just a few real world examples from some of the schools in terms of changing fast food and those snack items served at lunch into some tasty things like baked pea fritters. Um, Changing up pasta just from a standard plain pasta or cheese pasta into something like a salmon dill and lemon pasta. And then on the right-hand side here, just a balanced plate. So something that's nutritious with homemade bread and freshly cooked ingredients. The other benefit of bringing those hospitality chef trains in as well is the level of expertise that you can bring into a school kitchen. Um, and we see here, homemade bread is something that we train all of our chefs to do. Um, we had, I kind of mentioned the last one in terms of like an educational salad bar, just providing that exposure to new things. This particular photo was using radishes that were also grown at the school, so the children could learn the process from field to the plate. And on the left-hand side, this was actually a photo taken and shared with us only last week, but thought it was great to add on. One of the chefs was utilizing leftover food, so reducing his food waste from a leftover chili, going, how can I use this the following day? So made his own pizza bases, utilized the chili on that with a little bit of new sauce on top. And again, just giving children a different way that they could be exposed to foods. I found a few just because I like to show these pictures, a few before and after photos, just to show what we sometimes see as normal versus what's possible in a school. Frozen fish finger brought in versus homemade fish that's been homemade filleted fish, breaded, and then cooked for the schools. And just from a chef's perspective, just to share the what we hear from some of them. There's a few quotes here, but one that kind of stood out to me. We had a chef that works in a school in the southwest of England who, as the kids love to say, he previously cooked for the Queen of England in the past as well before. He's now in a school and he thinks it's the most precious job he's had in his life. He gets to feed kids on a daily basis. It's really different to feeding paying customers, but giving them a vital education early on. And kind of he in himself was happy to say that he's inspiring his children for the rest of their lives. And as a chef, couldn't ask for any more. Our second program that we deliver is our School Chef Educator program. And this is a 10-week hybrid course that we deliver. And this is delivered directly to the chef. So rather than to a school, chefs on their own from different school environments and different catering environments can come and learn on this course. And the program covers everything from establishing good school food cultures through to exceeding the school food standards that we have in the UK. We have 8 different modules that we share. And the benefit with this course is that we're upskilling and training chefs of all levels, from our kitchen assistants and kitchen porters through to our head chefs and exec chefs. There's something in the course here that's suitable for everybody. And what we see, the majority of feedback that we get from this particular course is around the confidence that we give chefs to either try something new, to talk to children about food and food education. And a lot of time, a lot of chefs are saying to us, this is the first time they actually have had any sort of formal training in a school kitchen environment. Just again, a couple of quotes off the back of here just to share, and I'm sure that we can get these slides made available afterwards as well. But some of the things that we're seeing from this particular course is how confident chefs are to go back and try adding new vegetables into things. We have a foolproof cake that we love to share, which is our Hulk cake. It's a cake that's made with peas and no sugar, so it's still got that sweetness in there. But it turns out green, and for the children, it's something different. They love it. They don't know there are peas in, and when you tell them afterwards, they're astounded, and obviously it gets them to eat something a bit more nutritious at the end of their meal. The final program that we offer is our membership program. And this is something that we launched this year. And this was off the back of us understanding that in a lot of the schools that we work with, particularly in those that have in-house catering provision, there's nowhere for those chefs to turn, and there's no community for chefs to have that peer-to-peer support. So what we've created here, and this is something we see time and time again, is that chefs have got all of this knowledge, but they're working in isolation in a kitchen, and they're unable to share it with other people, and they don't necessarily know where to turn. So we've created this online forum and this peer-to-peer network to connect chefs across the country so they can share their questions, share best practice, and support each other. The membership, as you can see here, also has a number of other different uh, elements to it as well. We have online resources that are available, procurement networks to support them with sourcing their ingredients, and kitchen exchange programs, so they can go and see other kitchens and see how they work, how they're set up, and learn from one another. But the main thing here was for us setting this up was around that professional development of a chef. As I mentioned earlier, very little training happens in school chef world, and we wanted to change that. So we're providing regular training to chefs so that they could be upskilled in a number of different topics to help them improve and to help schools improve across the country. Final couple of slides, just wanted to share just a few different things, and again, might spark some questions and ideas for later, but just some things that we offer at Chefs in Schools outside of our three core programs. We have a number of available resources online that we share, and a number of them are focused around improving school food culture, and most recently around breakfast provision. Because that's something in the UK that's being rolled out, we've created resources to support schools in a multitude of ways, be it a school that has a kitchen and they're cooking a full breakfast from scratch every day, to those that have absolutely no space whatsoever and it's a table in a room or it's maybe served in the classroom. So lots of different resources available there. And what we've also been working on over the last year are different ways to interact and support schools where one of our programs maybe isn't necessarily something they're able to take part in, but there is still a need for some improvement. So we've been working with secondary schools, looking at our the snack provision, particularly working on a snack takeover menu where we support a school and help to train them up on healthier snacks. This particular picture taken from one where we transformed the whole snack into vegetarian snacks, um, cooking everything for under 30p an item. And the feedback from the school there, and from the parents in particular that they got from the pupils, was that if they had that every day, the pupils would eat there every day. So our team were quite happy with that feedback. Um, a dining hall is a classroom, and this was just a reference to, again, just bringing it back to the chefs. The chef in the picture here is somebody called Amber Francis. In the UK, there's a program called the Great British Menu. I don't know if anyone's seen the British version of that. Amber was on this last year, and it's hospitality and restaurant Michelin star chefs that go on this program to cook and compete, with an opportunity to cook at a banquet at the end of it. Amber actually won this competition, and she is currently serving 600 children at a secondary school in North London. It just goes to show that the skills that can be brought in to schools is possible. And she introduced something in her schools called Try Something New Tuesday. Every Tuesday, introducing an ingredient that's free and accessible for the children to look at, to touch, to sniff, to taste. They don't have to eat it. They can if they like. They don't have to like it. It's about just encouraging them to have access to different foods.
Mhm.
Final two slides, I promise, and then I will pass over. This wanted just to share as another thing that we've been working on this year is a hub kitchen model. And this is supporting schools who work in maybe 3 or 4 schools in an area where they don't have the kitchen equipment, the kitchen space. And so the hub is where we have one feeder school that is able to do all of the cooking and preparation for the school. So they all get that scratch cooked food, and then it's then distributed to the local schools. So this is something that's just been trialed, and recently been trialing a number of things that you can cook in a rice cooker when space isn't available. So I've had some very interesting examples from that. But just to finish, just wanted to bring it all back to the chefs, as I mentioned, and just the benefits that chefs can bring to school food programs. Hopefully, I've highlighted many throughout the presentation. And aside from the skills that they have to cook from scratch, the experience that chefs ultimately provide is that exposure to new food for children that supports their education. They have that culinary experience, and so they can bring that into the dining room. The benefits that chefs can gain from working in school food programs, the main thing that we often see time and time again is that better work-life balance. They get evenings and weekends back, have school holidays off, and so those are the parents have an opportunity to cook and cook the food that they like, but also to have that balance. But ultimately, said our aim at Chefs in Schools is to reshape the perception of a school chef from a school cook or a dinner lady, as they're known in the UK, to a well-respected chef that's in comparison to any other role in the hospitality industry, a role that is paid well, trained well, and is seen as a highly regarded and well-respected profession. Thank you for my time. I appreciate I've spoken a lot, so I will pause and pass back over to Jessie.
Thank you so much, Sam. So exciting to hear about all of the different streams of your organization and the work that you're doing. And just a quick note, the Try It Tuesday, we have a shorter version of it, the name, but we actually have a toolkit on that that's been created by some folks in Nova Scotia that we'd be happy to share with everyone as well. And I think if you can, I love seeing all that beautiful radicchio in that photo. So if you can get kids to eat bitter Italian greens, you can get them excited about anything, I think. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Geneviève Massé. She is a graduate of dietetics from McGill University and the education director at La Table des Chefs, which is a nonprofit organization working across Canada dedicated to using culinary education as a tool for social impact. Welcome, Geneviève, over to you.
Thank you, Jessie. That was extremely interesting. I'm really happy that we can talk about chefs today in our schools, in our programs. It's an angle that we don't talk about often. Our chefs don't always participate in food literacy programs. The Table des Chefs, for us, is a way to engage chefs. It's part of our DNA. We've always worked with chefs everywhere in Canada. Our mission is to do this exactly. Some of them work with us on fighting food waste, food recycling, help kitchens or kitchens to support others, and we encourage our chefs to participate in our food literacy programs. So I'm going to show you what we do. We have chef teams, and these teams work with us on these programs. Our organization has been created in 2002. We work in Quebec a lot, of course. We launched our initiative in Quebec, but since 2018, we deployed our programs outside of Quebec. So now we have programs in 9 Canadian provinces, and we know and see that the impact is quite interesting. The brigades now. It's a turnkey program that we offer in schools. 24 workshops are proposed to young people from 12 to 17 years old as after-school classes. What we want to do is encourage food autonomy in adolescence. So these young people have to register, but this program is free for young people. It was very important for the Table des Chefs to offer a full participation for young people without any biases or stigmatization. We wanted everyone to be able to participate in this program. What we did is we started our programs in in poorer neighborhoods. So what we wanted to do is to give tools to these students and young people in more vulnerable regions and neighborhoods. Sometimes some ingredients are strange to young people. For example, if I tell a young person that legumes are full of proteins and it's cheaper than meat, they'll say okay, but if this young person doesn't know how to cook the legumes, well, they will turn towards processed foods or other types of foods that are more expensive. what we want to do is to target these schools and really teach what we can teach. But as I was saying, now we're kind of everywhere in Quebec and Canada. The goal of our programs is to transfer knowledge and to have the right chefs with us to transfer this knowledge. It's a very rich program because teens can learn a lot of techniques, can learn how to cook different recipes, can learn about health and safety in the kitchen. But what I really like is that our priority number one is to share the joy of cooking. We want our young people to learn to cook with joy, and this is how chefs can make a difference. This is part of their mandate. They are there to make it fun for teens so that they can really keep these habits. Once you know how to cook, you cook your whole life. Now, we have groups of 16 to 25 young people, and then we divide them into smaller brigades. And we want to show these young people how it works in a restaurant. This is how kitchen brigade works. And for each workshop, there's a challenge. Different recipes and also skills progression. It's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. We propose quizzes and other types of activities, and at the end of the year, the children can gather points and represent their schools in a bigger competition. At the end of the year, there's this nice thing they can gain, this prize, if I dare say. And children or adolescents seem to be very interested and stimulated by these incentives and these programs. Chefs are the right people to push these young people towards something greater. 70% of our schools participate in the bigger cooking competition, and it's something that people really love. These inter-school competitions is a way to allow teens and students to travel around Canada and Quebec. So it's a great way to do something great. And at the end, the best brigade will win. We have 9 provinces in our program, as I was saying. There are different programs we offer in our organization for adapted schooling and other things. But right now we have 400 schools that are working with us, and 300 chefs support our programs. They work with us every week and even every day sometimes. It's a great community of chefs because it's a way to make our program more elevated, more interesting. Our programs undergo assessments and receive feedback every year because we want them to be better. We ask the chefs and the staff to give us feedback to make our programs richer. And we take into account everything we get, and we improve our programs and initiatives every year. We also ask school staffers to be part of the program because it creates more dialogue. There's a better dialogue. There's a better connection between the chef and the school. The staff can support the chef because the chef has to develop a workshop. We have nutrition experts and other experts. And once the chef receives all of the information, the chef will create a program, a workshop. As I was saying, it's a turnkey program. The chef will arrive in the school, present everything to the students, explain the techniques, and everything will be done in the school. So I was talking about the workshops. Yes. Next thing, teachers. I was saying that teachers participate in our programs. Teachers also have a value to bring in because they support the chefs, and the teachers know their students. They know how to ask for the students to participate, and it's a good way to really foster a relationship between the chef and the classroom. It's also someone, the teacher, that can tell the chef that this or that student may have this or that issue. It's a great way. Another thing that I like is orchestrating the activities. There's so many activities, and we have to be flexible. It's a lot of logistics. For example, we have a community kitchen workshop. We prepare 50 liters of soup when we do this workshop, and we have to send this soup to a food bank. So it's the teacher that is going to coordinate everything. There's the Christmas or holiday lunch. Students can invite their sisters, brothers, parents. So at the end, there's a banquet, but it requires a lot of organization. There's a multicultural fair. It's a very interesting event. Young people can use their skills, and various cultures are presented through food. In this case, chefs are great because they can use their creativity to encourage young people to cook something from their culture. Now,
So
it's
excited, Genevieve. I'm just going to jump in and say if just about a minute left, and then we'll get to Paul. So sorry.
I was saying that managing time, food, and safety are also very important things chefs can teach. So it's beneficial for the chefs, but also for their career. It's a way to add more value to their careers, to talk about the challenges they had to go through. Young people, when they're teenagers, are thinking of a career, of what to do next, and having a positive experience with good chefs is a great way to open up new avenues. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Genevieve. It's so exciting to hear about such a rich and dynamic program and so much great student engagement. Thank you for sharing. Last but not least, it is an honor to welcome Paul Heighton, who is a chef educator at Northumberland Regional High School in Alma, Nova Scotia, where he oversees a student-run lunch program that has served over 50,000 meals. And we're actually going to start with a short video from Paul and his students, which was created a couple of years ago when they launched their program. And then after that, we'll hear from Paul just about all of the great progress they've made since and the journey to get there. So just give me one moment here. I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully, this technology. Okay.
Lunch, Mr. Hyden's food class and the promo closet are offering a free salad bar at lunch. When the bell rings, you can come down to room 1086 and make your own salads.
Hello, welcome to Northumberland High School. This is our first sort of dry run. We're doing a free lunch program. We're hoping to go school-wide. This is our first setup here. The wonderful Karma Closet students have been working for years to get to something like this. And I just came in and I'm just trying to offer a little bit of help. And this is what it sort of looks like on a daily basis, hopefully moving forward here. So this is my food lab. Students are going to come in through one door. They'll be able to come over, get plates, forks, get set up. They will continue on to our beautiful Cambro salad bar here with a wonderful garden salad. We got some leafy greens. We got some beautiful microgreens that our students in our agricultural program are growing. They're growing as potatoes, tomatoes, microgreens, lettuce. It's all going to go into our food that we serve for free to the students here. We got peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes. We have some yogurt ranch dressing, a nice yogurt-based dressing. We have a nice vinaigrette of oil and balsamic, salt and pepper. Then we get on to our Caesar salad for today. There's going to be 2 choices of salads each day. Once they get some salad, they can move on down. And we have our soup station here. They can get a spoon, a cup, and we have 2 soup offerings today. We have a lovely corn chowder the students made and some chicken noodle soup the students made. And if that's not enough, next is our mac and cheese. It's our hot serving today. We're going to have a different hot serving every day for the students to fill their bellies with. So they have a lot of variety, a lot of choices. They can have soup and a salad. And they're coming in a second. That's what that bell means. So there's a lot of varieties here. It's all free for the students. We're trying to fight food security in this province here at schools. And we're very excited about it. So yeah, let's let the first students in and see how they do. Let's go.
Amazing. So energizing. Welcome, Paul. We're excited to hear more about where you are today. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jesse. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. So that was the start of it. So again, my name's Paul Heighton. I'm from Pictou County, Nova Scotia. I am a culinary teacher at Northumberland Regional High School in Alma there. And this would be my 4th year at the school. And when I first came, there was a group of students and some teachers that were called the Karma Closet, and they were trying to feed students what they could, right? Scraping together some yogurt tubes and some things like that. And when I came over, they said, we want you to help out. They said, we want to do more because believe it or not, and I have this conversation with people all the time, that young people in Nova Scotia and across Canada and the UK and all over the world, they want to eat healthy. They want good food. They want access to salads and soups and healthy thing. And the students asked me to help them with that. So I said, let's do it. So I have a program. I teach the Service Trades 10 class. It's very much an introductory class to sort of get used to the kitchen and get your general kitchen skills, similar to the Tablet Chef program that was spoken about earlier. Very introductory. And then my grade 11s is where we step it up. It's a culinary trades class, and I treat it just like a regular kitchen. We do have sort of stations. There's a salad group, a hot food group, and then there's a soup group. They're basically our little brigades. And we spend time at the first of the year coming up with a menu, and it's all student-led. The students, they decide what they want to eat, what they want to make, and they come up with an 8-day menu. And it's every day now. We sort of evolved from that video. Now there's 4 salads every day, 3 soups every day, and 4 hot things every day. And we make sure that no matter what you want to eat, whether you have allergies, whether it's gluten or whether for religious reasons you can't eat certain things, or whether there's dairy, or whether you're a vegetarian or a vegan, like there is something in our food lab that you can come get to eat every day. You might not be able to eat everything, but you get choice, and that's a beautiful thing to me. So right now we're currently operating. We do 250 students a day at our free meal. So the lunch bell rings at 11:38, and as you can imagine, the smells have been through the school all day. So the students just all flood to our room, and we get a lot of support. Right, our administrators have been amazing in supporting us. Our staff have been amazing. Our custodians. Other teachers, other students. Students hunt down grants for us. That's sort of how we do it now as far as the financial part of it goes. But it's a whole team effort here at this school. I just manage the making of the food and the purchasing of the food, but we have an agricultural teacher, Kelly Timmons. She's worked together with another teacher, Karen Berzakowski, and we have a greenhouse coming to our property where we're going to start growing all of our own produce, and we'll design our menu around what we can grow, what we can produce, and really push the local food. But everything's free. Everything I do, I don't want to do anything in schools unless it's free, unless it's full access to everybody. We got to make that stigma go away. Teachers get in the lineup and eat for free, EAs eat for free, custodians eat for free, students eat for free. I don't care. Get in line, be respectful, get some food, and it's sort of how we do it here. It's evolved a little bit from the beginning, but right now we're currently operating. Yeah, we're about to sort of hit 50,000, 60,000 meals. By the end of this year, we probably be close between 60 and 70,000 meals served in the last 3 years, and it's all free. I want to make sure everybody has access to food. So that's sort of what we're working on in our program. But as far as getting chefs in schools go, if I could just talk about that for a second, like I'm a Red Seal chef, and I came into the school, and like Sam was talking about earlier with his program, like getting chefs into schools makes all the difference. And a lot of people sort of asked why I would go into schools, and not because I worked at some pretty high-end restaurants and resorts, but like I'm getting emotional talking about it right now, but like it fills my cup, right? When you can teach these kids, these students, young adults, I'm sorry, but it's very empowering for these young people and for the chefs. Like I get more benefit out of this than them. So I don't know. It's very powerful to see students go from, sorry, I apologize, but students come in with no confidence at all, not knowing what anything was. And then they tell you stories about making food for their families. And that's what it's all about. Feeding people, teaching them to feed other people. That's it. Anyways, just give me a second here. We'll get back to it. But as far as me, like I benefit just as much. So anyways, I'll just take a second here. But yeah.
That's why you're so great, Paul. That's why we wanted you in Kitchen Brigades, and that's why you're so amazing. You see all these arts, my God, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's not me though, right? It's because my program is gotten so much, I guess, so much the spotlight on it because the students do it. It's the students doing it. They design the menu, they make the food, they clean up, they tell other students, hey, we're having a mac and cheese today, or hey, we're having this salad today. Come do this. They're the engine that does it, right? So that's why it gets popular. If it was just a Red Seal chef in the school making food, like that's one thing. It's really good that they do that, and schools are doing that. And Sam's program is amazing, and I love it. I love it. But the more you can get students involved and get them making food for other people themselves, right? That's when it gets awesome. So yeah, I mean, I know that I'm going to run out of time here soon, but that's just the gist of my program, right? It's get students to come up with the food that they want to serve each other, give them options. We follow the Nova Scotia Healthy Schools guideline. Like there's all kinds of like whole grains and plant-based proteins and all this. And it's a beautiful thing because the students want that. They crave that. They crave fruits. They crave vegetables. They want to have choice. They don't want to just be given a plate of food. Like, let me choose what I put in my body and teach them to put the right stuff in their body. And when they're making it, they're more apt to try new things. And it just sort of snowballs from there. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to keep doing that. I have two groups. So essentially, they spend a week in each station. So if you're in a group in my kitchen, you make hot food for 1 week, then you make soups for the next week, then salads for the next week, then back to hot food, back to soups, back to salad. And we're working on right now with some grant money. We're gonna have a bakery set up in another room. So there's going to be a fourth group that will just make fresh baked goods to go along with the soups and for the breakfast program and all that. And the students are doing it all. And I just sort of facilitate it all and let them grow and let them do their thing. And it's awesome. That's, I guess, I'm going to keep crying if I keep talking there, just so I don't know. If there's any questions or anything, we can.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so inspiring to hear and just so appreciate your sharing. And yeah, it's incredible, all three of you. It's been so great to hear from all of you. We have about 10 minutes for questions. And I see there's a couple that have come in over the chat. And I'm just going to speak to before we get there because we had quite a few come in registration that were around getting kids to try new things and eating more fruits and vegetables. And I think you just really nailed it there, Paul, with that having kids be engaged, involved in it, and that encouragement to try new things as well. So hopefully we've shared some tips for some of those questions already. I'm just gonna pop up. There's a question for Geneviève. If you could speak to some of the teaching certificates, or if I'm just gonna find it here. Sorry. Um, what the teaching requirements are for chefs coming into your organization, or are you developing chefs inner teacher as part of their professional development?
It's a great question. It's something that we would like to work on with different cooking schools and culinary schools. We don't have any prerequisites or criteria. We're looking for chefs. But there's so many cooking schools in Canada. We cannot always have Red Seal chefs or chefs that went through formal schooling. But we're open to different types of chefs. Sometimes chefs worked in restaurants, so their experience stems from their work. But of course, we interview these people. We want people that are dynamic, motivated, want to teach. Like Paul, for example, it was an easy choice. He has the right experience, but also he wants to share his passion. So this is something important we look for. We really want to hire the chefs that are motivated to work in these schools. Does it answer your questions? Jessie, does it answer your question?
I
Sorry.
think so. Yeah. If the person who put the question in, but wants to respond in the chat, feel free to or to chime in. But yeah, I think that's super helpful. And I know that we have many chefs. There's a really inspiring chef who's been working in some schools in Surrey rather here. So I think if the question is if there's a teaching requirement going into it, I know at least in BC, not necessarily to have a full kind of bachelor's of ed.
No.
But many of them are inspired to then go back because this particular person I'm thinking of has actually just gone back and started to do her bachelor's of ed. So yeah, I think there's many kind of pathways into it. Okay, and there's a question for Paul as well. If he can just speak to funding streams that allow him to make such a wide range of offerings every day. And how much does the lead agency in your region contribute to that?
Yeah, excellent question. That's what I get asked all the time. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Where's the money come from? And again, it's the bigger, like in our specific little school, like we have so many student volunteers, but they don't all want to cook. So some of them hunt down grants. A lot of it right now is grant money and donations over the last few years. But we're now slowly transitioning. The government of Nova Scotia had made a commitment a couple of years ago to feed all the students for free in their schools. So, I mean, the sustainability of our searching down, $60,000-$70,000 worth of grants every year, it's not really sustainable. So we're looking to transition and work with the government soon. And I'll be honest, like stats, data, it drives everything. So like we track how many students come through, how many meals we serve. And right now we're looking at $2.35 is our cost for every student that comes through the door, like the food we serve them and their plates and their cutlery. And that's just, that's food costs, right? We don't have to pay overhead because built right into our curriculum is our labor. Our students are our labor force, right? But like as far as us getting our fundings, like it's been grants up to this point, and we've been really lucky to have teachers and students that jump on board and hunt down those grants. But we're currently working with our Center for Education to see if we can get some of the provincial money sort of streamed our way to use for this program as well. So that's what we're hoping to do there in the future for sure. But right now it's all grants, which isn't very sustainable, but it's what we're doing.
That's great. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, many different avenues. Um, we had quite a few questions come in through the registration that pertain to working with limited resources, especially we know many kitchens here in Canada, and Sam, you spoke to this a little bit as well, this hub model. Um, yeah, just how to really kind of maximize when they're dealing with a really small kitchen or maybe not even a fully equipped kitchen at all, and providing balanced meals to students. Maybe I'll start with Sam. Can you share a little bit about how you've approached that with your hub model?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of the perfect example there of where we've come across this challenge in a few schools. They just don't have a kitchen. So maybe it was taken away a while ago. They weren't serving school meals, and therefore when school meals came back in, it was a case of having to outsource it and bring it in from different places, and they just weren't meeting those kind of nutritional standards that they'd expect. So we said with the hub model, that was around just bringing together happened to be a federation of schools. So the schools that didn't have the capacity were already linked with a few other schools in the region. And some of those schools therefore had that capacity to do so. The first model we tried, it was in London, and it was we learned a lot along the way with it. And the biggest challenge actually came around distribution. You can cook really good food in one central kitchen and distribute it, but then you still want that food to turn up looking brilliant and tasty for the children who are getting it on the other end. So a lot of work actually went into the delivery model to get it to the schools and to then plate it so that it was appetizing for them. As I alluded to just with the in the presentation, recently in one of the schools we've been looking at where they don't have that much space, it's going, well, what equipment can you use that can support it? And there's some great equipment out there, but appreciate that comes at a high cost that a lot of schools can't afford. So it's looking at those innovative ways. So we were looking at a rice cooker going, actually, you can cook more than rice in a rice cooker. But again, it does come down to training. You still have to be able to train the chefs. You still have to have that expertise in there to be able to do so. So yeah, a lot of it just comes down to just trialing different methods.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that creative knowledge that and professional development that trained chefs can bring in that you shared about is so valuable. And yeah, just working in confined constraints, I feel, or within a confined environment is something that chefs excel at. Geneviève or Paul, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes. For food literacy, we can do a lot with not much. There are so many high schools that don't have equipments. Sometimes we don't have any ovens, but we can do great things with induction plates, for example. I didn't say it before, but we provide the material, the equipment, and we can use so many things. I would like to mention something. Sometimes in Quebec, very few primary schools have a kitchen. This type of model would then be difficult to implement, having a chef in a primary school. But there's another way to do it, and we found another way to do it. It's to use unsold vegetables and cook soups in kitchens, and these soups are cooked by chefs and sent to primary schools so that these children can have access to a healthy soup every day. So we cook in production kitchens. We have partners that freeze the soup and distribution partners that bring the soup to the primary schools. It's a way to bypass this problem, let's say, the fact that a lot of schools don't have kitchens and we have to find new ways to bring the food to the children.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Geneviève. I don't know about all of you. I'm feeling really inspired. We are almost at the top of the hour here, and I'm sure we could stay chatting for at least another hour. But I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So if you asked a question and we weren't able to get to it, please note that we have those in the recording. We also have the ones submitted prior to the event. So we'll do our best to address those in follow-up communications, as well as to share the recording and any of the resources that were talked about today, and links to all of the programs. For now, I just want to thank all of our incredible speakers, Sam, Geneviève, and Paul. Thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your knowledge and energy and inspiring work that you do. And I also want to thank all of you for joining us and being champions to transform school food in your own communities. I hope you're going away from today's session with some ideas, inspiration, actions to take, and feel free to share any of that in the chat with us as you're on your way out. That's it from us, everyone, and we'll follow up over email in the next few days with the recording for you. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.